जय श्री गुरु गौरंग गंधाविक गिरिधारी श्री राधा विनंद बिहारी जी की जय। नित्य लीला विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र सत शीश मन श्री भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य लीला विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र सत शीश मन श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। श्री भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र सत शीश मन श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। महाभागवत श्री गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। सच्चिदानंद श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। रूपानुग गौरी गुरुवर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भद्र रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भक्तदास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। राधा कृष्ण गोगोप कवि गोवर्धन द्वादश मनात्मक ब्रजमंदो धाम की जय। गिरिराज महाराज की जय। राधा कुंज श्याम कुंज यमुना गंगा तुलसी भक्ति देव की जय। गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। योग माया पूर्णमासी देव की जय। अस्त सखी वृंद की जय। अस्तमंजरी की जय। क्षेत्र मंदिर जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र सुदर्शन चक्र जू की जय। नरसिंह भगवान की जय। प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। नृसिंह चतुर्दशी की जय। श्री नृसिंह देव की जय। नंदकुति वैष्णव की जय। सामगत भक्त विंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। श्री मंगलाचरण मंगलाचरण पेज 1। वंदे हम श्री गुरु श्रीदावद कमलं श्री गुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्री कृष्ण कमलचारिणे रूपानुग प्रवर्णाय दीनदेती स्वरूपिणे नमो Prabodaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vidyana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murte Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Grantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Varagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Parambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirdishta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhuma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuveva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalokalmashanashaya Janavapate Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Pangoy Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasva Padam Bhojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadhya Srimad Ratnagra Sinhasanasto Shri Shri Radha Shila Govinda Deva Preshtali Sevyamanu Smarami Shrimad Rasarasarambhe Vamsivata Tatasvitaha Karshandenu Swame Gopi Gopinath Sri Suna Om Vrindaya Tulasi Devyaya Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataye Namo Namaha Panchatattvamakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Prabhu, you have a songbook?
I don't.
Let me give you, right here you see on the silver platform, take a songbook. And you can play kartals. You have?
Okay.
Okay. First, we will sing a song to Shri Guru, and we will turn to page. Yes, page 29. All glories to Shri Guru, the desired tree of Prem, whose manifestation is most astonishing. With effulgent moonbeams of knowledge, he destroys the vast darkness of ignorance in the heart. His eyes are the abode of bliss. Seeing a person as fallen as me, this personality voluntarily gave me Harinam, even without my asking. I am wicked and helpless, and my mind is constantly absorbed in mundane matters. I do not possess even one iota of devotional merit. Yet he still instructs me about Sri Vrindavan and the treasure of bhajan of the divine couple. Showering the world with the pure nectar of Gaur Prem, Shri Guru fulfills everyone's hopes, having not developed rati for his lotus feet, this Vaishnav Das weeps. Got something in my throat. Okay. This is 2 beat. 2 beat. Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Adhuta Jango Jugala Vaishnav Thakur? You don't know?
Not so much.
Okay, let's keep
I
singing.
can sing Gauranga Bolite Hobe later if you like.
Okay,
But I don't know that many songs.
Okay. Let's sing. Next song, so we just sang to Guru, now we sing to our saints, our sadhus or Vaishnavas. And we'll sing page 39. O Vaishnav Thakur, you are an ocean of mercy. Being compassionate upon this servant, purify me by giving me the shade of your feet, of which I take hold. Help me to subdue the 6 urges and purify my 6 faults. Bestow upon this servant the 6 qualities of a devotee, and give me the 6 kinds of devotional association. I'm waiting in hope of attaining your association.
Can I continue?
Yes.
Alone, I do not have the strength to perform Harinama Sankirtana. Being kind and giving me 1 drop of faith, bestow upon me the priceless treasure of Krishna Nama. Krishna is yours, so you have the power to give Krishna. I am only a beggar running behind you, calling out Krishna, Krishna.
Jai Krishna, Krishna. So it says here, subdue the 6 urges. So this is the urge of the tongue, the urge of the mind, the urge of the belly, the urge of the genitals, the urge of anger. There are 6 of them. That's the first verse of the Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita. And then it says the 6 faults, Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha, which means to over-collect or over-endeavor, to follow the rules too much, to be attached to following rules, and also to be attached to not following the rules. The yam and niyam, the rules, what the do's and don'ts of bhakti, how to protect and grow our love. So being too slack and also being too strict in the rules, not understanding that we only follow rules to develop the love in the heart. And then associating with the materialistic people who just increase our enjoyment tendency, our materialistic tendencies. And I forgot, I think that's 5 I named. Maybe I'm missing one other. And then the 6 types of association is the 4th verse. Tadati pratigrinati, which means to share food with one another, to give gifts to one another, and to reveal one's heart to one another. These are the 6 types of association that we want to do with like-minded individuals, spiritual individuals. That's how we get sangha. Food, gifts, and revealing one's heart. So it's saying that, please, I'm waiting in a hope for attaining your association, the association of the Vaishnavas, the devotees. I just wanted to bring that up from the verse. All understanding of scripture is in these songs. You don't need to know many verses, but if you know these bhajans, then you know all of our philosophy. That's why they're very important. O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayala Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Vaishnava Thakura Dayala Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Diya Pada Chaya Shorahe Amare Oh, he Vaishnava Thakura Dayala And normally we sing Panchatattva mantra before we start any Mahaprabhu song. Okay. Page 86. Yes, I did. Krishna have our just Gurudev got installed just today. Hari Bo, Hari Hari Bo. On Nrsingha Caturdasi and our beautiful Srila Prabhupada, Gauranitai.
$346. 343. Sorry.
Here, there's a lot more songbooks. They're all here. Anybody needs them?
Krishna Deva Bhavan Krishna Deva Bhavan Manmana Samarukaram Apayam Japaram Krishna Bhagavan Bande Mana Manasa Marukarama Kaya Nijapara Pandaka
He was preparing, but I didn't know if he was the main person. I thought he was.
Okay, any requests?
Song requests?
Das Avatar?
Yeah, can we, I thought for
Das
Abhishek.
Avatar will go for Abhishek and Arati.
Very nice.
Very nice. I know what I can do.
Something from.
Hare Hare Govinda Hare.
Oh yeah, that's a good time.
I don't know if it's in that song.
It is in this book. It's on page.
Yeah, it's in the yellow book. I'll need to borrow the yellow book.
It's on page
Hari.
348.
Ever down?
Page 348.
You ever down?
348. 348.
348?
348. Which one? 348.
Okay,
Hari Hari Govinda Hari.
That's
Yes.
right. Yes.
Jai ho, Shri Nrsingha Dev Bhagavan ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Prabhupada ki Jai, Aaj ke Anand ki Jai. Bolo Hare Hare Govinda Hare, Hare Hare Govinda Hare. कालिया माधन कंसन शूधन देवकी नंदन राम हरे कालिया माधन कंसन शूधन देवकी नंदन हरे गोविंद हरे 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 Chakatapavar Sukadam Mahari Vamana Visuvar Rakshakulare Chakatapavar Sukadam Mahari Vamana Visuvar Rakshakulare Chakatapavar Sukadam Mahari Vamana Visuvar Rakshakulare Baladeva Buddha Kalki Narayana Deva Janardhana Shri Kausale Kalki Narayana Deva Jajupati Daitadalana Chuka Panjana Sore Keshava Madhava Goloka Indrugo Kula Chandra Gadadhara Bharadvaja Gajamochana Mudare
Like
Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Nrsingha Caturdasi. This is our first Nrsingha Caturdasi in the ashram.
Haribo!
Haribo. Since we just got this property, leading into the winter last year. So Nrsingha is here now to protect us. Since we started this ashram, we didn't bring any deities. All the deities have come themselves. Very interesting. One devotee brought Lord Ram, Lakshman, Sita, Hanuman. One devotee brought Nrsingha. Another devotee brought Nrsingha. Another devotee brought Prahlad Maharaj. Gauritai came from one temple. Shalagram came from one devotee. Gauritai came, then Prabhupada came from Vrindavan. And then our Radha Krishna came, one devotee visited. Then today we installed our Gurudev's Murti. This Murti we built in New York ourselves. Over 2 months we spent building our Murti. And today we did a beautiful Abhishek. So nighttime we'll have some Charnamrita. We made a big feast for the Nrsingha. But the point is that wherever the devotees, come together and celebrate festivals about bhakti, do kirtan, harikatha, then the Bhagavan mercifully appears. When the gopis were in separation from Krishna, then they began to sing with great separation, with great love, and Krishna was bound to come within a few moments. They sang 20 verses. Jayati Jayadikam Janmanavaja Shrayata Indira Sasvratari Dhaita Drisitam Dikshitavakas Tavadrichastavastam Vichinte. They sang with great longing for Krishna, and he was bound to come. So since we came here, we've been trying to follow this process of praying to Krishna through kirtan, through speaking his glories, through serving devotees, through sharing prasad and festivals. And then our prayer is that Bhagavan Krishna himself will bless this place. So Shalagram has come. Next, other Thakujis will come and will establish Thakuji here. Radha Krishna Thakurji and the gopis. So in this way we are trying to have a place here in the East Coast where there can be a shelter and people can try to practice the moods of Braj Bhakti. The sweet, simple, sincere, simple-hearted devotion for Krishna. Spontaneous love for Krishna. Only that I want to have a relationship with Krishna. I want to, like Krishna takes the cows out to graze, like Krishna plays with the gopas, the gopis, in the Jamuna, in Rasa Lila, with the Sakas. Let us develop natural love for Krishna and relationship with him, like he's our family, like he's our best friend, like he's our beloved. That is our process here. So we're trying to serve in that way. Today is Nrsingha Caturdasi, so we're going to have a few different speakers talk about different specialities. We spoke already this morning about some of the pastime of Nrsingha's appearance. So I'm going to ask Jagadish Prabhu to speak.
Okay.
And I don't know if Pankaj Prabhu is going to be here.
He's right out there.
Speak. We'll have 4 or 5 devotees speak, 10, 15 minutes. As they like. So thank you all for coming. I hope you visit often. And if there's anything you need or any requests for me, please feel free to share. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurumikam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Jayu Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna all devotees. Madam pranams. So today's Nrsingha Caturdasi, the 14th day in the lunar calendar. Tomorrow's Purnamasi, the full moon. Every 30 days there's a full moon, and between every 30 days there's the new moon. Also there is a Kadasi Titi, which was just a few days before, and now there is the 14th day, Caturdasi. So Lord Nrsingha, he appeared on Caturdasi.
Yes.
So, first, when we're worshiping the Lord, we should understand who the Lord is. Is the Lord Nrsingha? Is he Krishna? Is he Ram? Is he Buddha? Is he Kurma? Is he Matsya? Many forms of the Lord. But that's only according to the mood of the devotee. In tattva, God is one, but in mood, God is many. So how you approach God, he also reciprocates. So like this, that is for the devotee. But only for the devotee? No. Also for the demons. The Lord reciprocates with the demons. And the Lord came to reciprocate with one of his dear demons, Hiranyakashipu. Yes. So with his brother Hiranyaksha, he reciprocated as a boar incarnation. A boar is always putting his snout in the sewer and going for dirty things. So the Lord reciprocated with this demon as he deserves. He's dirty. He's using his tusk and his hooves to get out the anartha, the ignorance, the things in the way of his devotion. And same with Lord Nrsingha. He's coming down to get out the anartha inside of Hiranyakashipu and to protect his devotee. So Lord Nrsingha, he is half lion and half man. And in India, I've been to India a few times. These boys have been to India. And a lot of people in this room, you've been to India. We see outside the temples, especially the Gaudiya Mats, as you enter the front gates, there will be a lion and there'll be an elephant. And the lion will be devouring the elephant. It'll be attacking the elephant. And the elephant will be in distress. All of our acharyas are like lions. We have lion-like acharyas. Srila Prabhupada, he's a lion-like acharya. Like king of the jungle. The lion is the king of the jungle. Was Srila Prabhupada afraid of the scientists? No. He called them rascals. Yes. Yes. Did he not? He called them rascals. No one is in the way of the pure message of love for the Supreme Lord. So, Lord Nrsingha, who else is like a lion like Acharya? We have Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says Chaitanya Simhera, Navadvipe Avatar, Simha Griva, Simha Virya, Simhera Hunkar. Thus, the lion-like Lord Chaitanya has appeared in Navadvip. He has the shoulders of a lion, the powers of a lion, and the loud voice of a lion. The next text says, Sehi Simha Vasuk Jiver, Hridoya Kandare, Kalmasya Dvirada, Nashe Yahar Hunkare. May that lion be seated in the core of the heart of every living being. Thus, with his resounding roar, may he drive away one's elephantine vices. So this elephant that's in front of all the temple is a representation of ignorance and our vices and our anarthas that are in our hearts. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would time to time show that he was God. He would manifest different forms. To some devotees, he showed the form of Sri Vrahadev. To some devotees, he showed the universal form, the Virat Rup. And 10 times, he showed the form of Lord Nrsingha.
Wow.
Yes. So we see here that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combined form of Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna combined form is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Nrsingha is the combined form Nara and Simha. Nara meaning man and Simha meaning lion. Two have become one, just as two have become one. Vishnu, we see in the story of Prahlad Maharaj, Vishnu was protecting Prahlad over and over. Hiranyakashipu had him thrown off a cliff, and Vishnu caught him. Vishnu. We saw so many times they were trying to stab him, burn him, poison him. Every time Vishnu was protecting. But then Ugra Shakti, the topmost Shakti, Sarup Shakti, became upset. Why is so much disturbance happening to my devotee over and over? I must put a stop to this. So she herself comes to stop the punishment of Prahlad. So Shakti Shaktiman, as we see in Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see also in Sri Nrsingha. So Nrsingha is non-different than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very nice. So, some more facts on that is that after Sri Nrsingha killed Hiranyakashipu, he placed Prahlad on his lap. And what does it say in Brihan Nrsingha Purana? It said, then, to the utter amazement of all, Sri Nrsingha licked Prahlad's limbs as an ordinary lioness licks her baby cub. Lilihe tasya grachani swapotasheva keshari. So, Shastra states that Lord Nrsingha caressed Prahlad Maharaj like a lioness. Shakti, Ugra Shakti. So there we see that Sri Lord Nrsingha is non-different than Sri Radha Krishna combined, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. No, this time is over. Hare Bol.
Drop the mic.
Is Pankaj Prabhu here?
He's there.
After Vrindavan Prabhu, you can speak.
Ajnanatmandasya gnanjana salakaya chakshurmilitam jena tasmai shri gurave Keshavadira narahari rupa jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare. First of all, I offer my heart-like obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Paramadatma Guru Pada Padma Nitilila Om Vishnupad Parivrajakattaya Astata Tata Shishimat Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Guru Dev. Secondly, I offer my heart-like obeisances unto the lotus feet of A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. For without his mercy, we wouldn't be sitting here today. I offer my heart in remembrance of all Vaishnavas that have come and have paved the way for us to be in this path. Those who have performed great austerities, who have celebrated these days like Nrsingha Caturdasi for years of every day of their life with love and affection. To these Vaishnavas, pay my dandavats. To everybody that showed up here today. Now, my sustan dandavats to all of you, for everybody putting in seva, dancing and playing the drum, dandavats, speaking very nicely, Jagadish, very profound sweetness. things are very deep. How would we ever know any of these things? It's this Vaishnav line is to peck at the mango, and every peck, the mango becomes sweeter. So every time Vaishnavas are manifesting themselves into this world, they bring a little bit more to the pot. So we're very fortunate to hear things like this. This is all the result of being in this line and coming to festivals. So Nrsingha Caturdasi is very special because it is celebrating over Shakti, Radha Krishna combined. But who's the Shakti of Krishna? Radhe, Radhe, Shubandhu Nandini Srimata Radharani ki, hey, Shri Radhe. She has the power. She is ripping Hiranyakashipu apart. She is lifting Prahlad. She is licking and giving affection. She is the reason why we're all here. Ultimately, she is the one who's possessing bhakti. She is Swarupini. She is the source of devotion. So we see her manifesting many different things. And one of the potencies that she manifests is the ability to connect with the Lord. We call that Yoga Maya. And she also manifests this potency called Mahamaya, which I'm sitting in right now. This is the constant forgetfulness of my eternal relationship with the divine. That is Maya. Maya is not this, Maya is not that. Maya is that which is keeping us forgetting who we really are. But for devotees, Yogmaya, this potency that helps you realize, shows up and makes everything easy. Because this world is full of nothing but problems. For a devotee, it's like skating on ice. So how is it possible for the Lord to even fight? Vijay, his brother Jai, they're gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. And when Lakshmi Devi was offering some tulsi at the feet of Lord Narayan, this fragrance of beautiful tulsi just permeates time and space. And the four Kumars, these very innocent looking sages, smelt this smell. And it is most attractive. So attractive that it was able to captivate them, and they traveled through time and space to find the source of this aroma. And when they got there, they were greeted by two guards, Jai and Vijay. Let's stop them. Hey. There's four innocent young boys who are great rishis, sages. Says, hey, what do you mean, hey? You have to picture these boys, they're small, like children, like naked, with just one little bell around. They're just looking like a young baby in the Vedic culture. But they have some serious power within their devotion. So they aren't very happy with this greeting from Jai and Vijay. Now, I guarantee you, if you went to Vaikuntha, you would not be greeted like that. Vaikuntha is this very special place. It's full of love and affection.
That's the doorway of Vaikuntha.
That's the doorway.
I think now that past that happened, it won't happen again.
Yeah, exactly. Now everybody's really nice at the door. Welcome. You might, we treat you as Vishnu. Here's some prasadam. But in this rare instance, Jai and Vijay were covered by Yoga Maya because they are devotees. So for the pleasure, it's the exact pleasure of the Lord, they responded in this way. Then the boys were upset and they cursed Jai and Vijay. Jai and Vijay, they came in front of Narayan and said, "Hey, please help. We've been cursed by these 4 boys. So they can't help you, these 4 boys." Said, "You can take birth, 21 lives as a devotee, or you can take 3 births as a demon, and then you'll come back to your positions." And they said, "We'll take the demons." Why? Why would you pick a demon? Because it's so much less time to be back into your relationship. You wouldn't want to step out of that for very long. So they had the choice and they didn't mind. Because under the power of Yogamaya, their heart is always connected to their supreme lordships and their internal desires. So through their internal desires, Sripad Rasik Prabhu spoke very nicely on these topics of the desires of the Lord. And now we see Yogamaya has taken control and is giving this Leela a place to be manifested. So never in any circumstance can someone fall from Vaikuntha. So we have to always remember this in this day. It's a very important tattva, that no possibility from that position of being with the Supreme Personality of Godhead that you can fall from that position. But by God's inner desire, Yogamaya can make these things happen. This is very similar to the Gopis' life. Srimati Radhika has her kinkaris, the manjaris, Rupa Rati. And they would never want to be with Krishna. But under some circumstances, Srimati Radhika can trick them into meeting Krishna. So in the same way we see Yogamaya is able to make anything happen. So only by this powerful potency of that supreme order Shakti, which is manifested as Bhagavan Nrsingha Dev, is able to control all these things for the Lord's pastimes. So Jai and Vijay, they say Vijay became Hiranyakashipu and Jai was Hiranyaksha. And they came back with Ravan and Kumbhakarna and Shishupal and Dandavakra. And then the special, they're so near and dear to the devotees because they are also near to Lord Nrsingha Dev, and they are Lord, and who is none other than Mahaprabhu, Radhakrishna combined. They came back for a very 4th special time. My dear friends, Jagai Madai. And their pastimes are very sweet and beautiful.
That was cheating because Krishna only said 3 times.
They wanted to come from Mahaprabhu Leela.
Who would not want to come? If you're an associate of the Lord and you're taking, you're so connected by this potency of Yogamaya. So this is what I'm getting to. We want to pray for Yogamaya to take control of our lives. This is a very important part. And so certain parts of the year we actually, do more remembrance in that. And we'll be, celebrating that here. Katyayani Rad is a very special understanding of Yogamaya that has been nurtured through so many devotees, and now we have a chance to relish some very sweet katha from these topics that have been hidden for many, many millenniums, and now they have arisen by the lotus feet of our Srila Gurudev, by Srila Prabhupada, by our Guru Varga, the Vaishnavas. By their sweet nectarian katha, we will come back here again and again to relish this beautiful seva and pray for that amazing Shakti Maya to take control of our lives, and never again will we ever experience any problems.
Mahani will speak, please. And then, so we'll speak till 8:30, and then we'll be doing Abhishek and Aarti from the Nrsingha, and then Mahaprasad. So.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Gurudeva Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Panu Gauri Guru Varga Ki Jai, Nrsingha Bhagavan Ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Okay, so Pankaj Prabhu will speak the whole story. So I'll just... What pleases the Lord most... What pleases the Lord most is hearing the glories of his devotees. So I will speak a little bit on Prahlad Maharaj, who's so dear to Nrsingha. In his previous life, he actually was a Brahmin. A son, he was from there's 5 children, 5 brothers that his father had. And his father was very pious Brahmin, always doing fire yagyas and such. He was the youngest, Prahlad Maharaj, and his name was Vasudev in his previous life. And he became very attached to a prostitute, actually.
That's the story often goes.
Yes, as the story often goes with people, men who go astray from the devotional path. So he's attached to this prostitute, Vasudev. And he's always spending time at her home. And one day he has a quarrel with her. And it's so bad, really bad fight, that he runs into the forest and he makes a vow that he will not eat today. He's so upset. That feeling where that anger that takes over you. And that sadness. And he took shelter, it was raining and pouring, and he took shelter into an old abandoned temple into the jungle. Guess what temple that was?
Nrsingha Bhagavan
Ki Jai! It was an old Nrsingha dilapidated temple. And he took shelter there in the rain, and he fasted all day on Nrsingha Caturdasi. Of course, Prahlad Maharaj is a Mahajan, and he is, pure devotee, but yet we see that many times associates come in this world and they may have another soul with them sharing this post, if you will, in a way, sharing this lila. So anyhow, this personality comes as Prahlad in his next life and gets the darshan of Nrsingha, someone who is completely attached to a prostitute and not following anything, but just by his strict faith, by fasting on that day and taking shelter in the rain of going to Nrsingha's place. Look at what a beautiful result. And Prahlad Maharaj has shown in his life, in his pastime, how staunch faith gives such a result. Unwavering faith, this nishta. He was threatened to be killed so many times by his father. And yet he did not waver. He always just simply chanted the names. Hare Hare. He simply chanted the holy names and stayed absorbed in this. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. He told his schoolmates and he told his father, engage in the 9 limbs of bhakti. This is what life is about. Go into the forest, meditate on the Lord. This is like what he, as a 5-year-old boy, is telling his father. Imagine. His father is bigger than any Trump or any big prime minister or king in this world. He took over the heavenly planets, Hiranyakashipu. He was very learned also. When Hiranyaksha, when his brother passed away, was killed by Varahadev, he coached all of his family. Don't be so distressed. This is just the body. Why are you so distressed? He knows all Tattva Gyan, Hiranyakashipu. But if you know everything in Shastra, it means 0 if you have no devotion. And Prahlad Maharaj, maybe he did not know everything in Shastra, but he had bhakti. That's the most part. And what he had was Guru Nishta. He gave his heart and everything to Narada Muni. So that's why he knows everything. Those who have Guru Nishtha have Guru Bhakti and Guru Shakti. And that's all you need. Otherwise, nothing. You don't have anything.
No Bhakti, no Shakti.
No Bhakti, no Shakti. So Prahlad Maharaj had Guru Bhakti. Narada Muni gave shelter to Kayadu, Prahlad Maharaj's mother. Because at the time Hiranyakashipu was doing austerity for 60,000 years. After his brother was killed, he says, okay, I'm going to do austerity and I'm going to try to never be killed. I'm going to gain the favor of Brahma, the creator of the universe. So while he was gone, all the demigods were fearful of Prahlad being born. They said, okay, if Hiranyakashipu already took over the heavenly planets and is doing so much damage, then what to speak of his son? He's going to be even worse. So we need to kill him now, abort the baby. And so they all started grabbing Kayadu and taking her. Indra was taking her. Narada Muni said, what are you doing? This boy is actually a pure devotee of the Lord. And so Narada Muni took Kayadu into his ashram and spoke the whole Bhagavatam, all the Puranas, all the Vedas to Prahlad Maharaj and his mother. So it shows how important that even at conception, the baby within the womb is getting impressions. It's very important for a mother. It's a deep responsibility for what she feeds herself in her mind and her eyes and her ears during the time of pregnancy, because it affects the child. So Prahlad Maharaj was hearing all of these glories, amazing glories of, even up to the Goloka Vrindavan, all the Braja Gopis, all these stories, the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, everything was described to Prahlad Maharaj. But Kayadu, she also heard. But how come she is not a pure devotee? What happened? It's because she had attachment. Attachment to asat sangha. When we're attached to bad association because of sentimentality, because she's like, oh, I'm here now, I'm being protected, but I'm just waiting for my husband to come back. That was her motivation. So immediately when Hiranyakashipu was finished with his austerity, running back right to him. And she had forgotten all the teachings. In the moment she was blissful, she was probably having a great time, but she had forgotten because of the attachment of the association. But Prahlad Maharaj, he was attached to his Gurudev's teachings. He wasn't attached to his father, mother, anything. All of his friends in school, they all wanted to play. He says, why would you play now? Why are you playing? We spend the first 10 years being a kid, you're learning how to even walk and eat and be functional in the world. And then next you're studying, doing school, getting an education. Next, then you want to get married, and then you have a career, then you have kids, and then you retire, and then your body's too old to do any spiritual life. You haven't had the habit to do spiritual life, and then you try to do it at old age, and you have so many desires in your heart, you're attached to so many things, so how can you do bhakti? So Prahlad Maharaj says, no, start when you're young. The Bhagavatam is so great because it shows all the examples of Krishna's devotees. We have a prostitute who is Krishna's devotee, Pingala. We have Prahlad Maharaj who is 5 years old. We have a king. We have even a deer, Jadbharat, becoming an animal and having, or Jatayu, or any of the associates of Ram. All examples of how anyone can be a devotee. Even Prahlad Maharaj taking birth as Haridas Thakur in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila, getting back to Nrsingha being Mahaprabhu. How dear is Haridas Thakur to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he gave his own samadhi to Haridas Thakur with his own hands. So Prahlad Maharaj is not ordinary, and he came in a Muslim birth as Haridas Thakur. So it doesn't matter what religion you come from, what background you come from, how old you are, what gender, nothing. It is our birth, not even birthright, it is our soul right to have Krishna Prem, the goal of life. Much of Hiranyakashipu was interested in dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, enjoyment, wealth, maybe liberation, meaning like having just that monistic mayavad understanding that I am God. And then artha, kama, so artha is wealth and prosperity, and kama, enjoyment. And dharma, religion for the sake of pride, really, not real dharma. Because the real dharma is Sanatan Dharma, and that Sanatan Dharma is Krishna Prem, love for Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj had this. This was his virtue, and Krishna saved him many times. Like Jagadish Prabhu said, he was saved many times. Chanting the holy names, they put him in a boiling pot of oil with snakes. So many things threw him off a cliff. But his faith was unflinching. We hear in Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, Utsaha Nishchaya Dharya Tat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyagat Satovite Sadbir Bhakti Prasiddhati. There's 6 symptoms. We just sang Oya Vaishnav Thakur. And it's asking, please remove the 6 faults. Well, there's the 6 benefits, the 6 limbs of having that help bhakti grow. Utsahan means enthusiasm. Nishchayat means firm faith. And dharyat means patience, tolerance. So this is look at Prahlad Maharaj showing this. So much enthusiasm to chant the holy names despite all tribulations and trials. And then such faith in his Guru Maharaj's words, following the path. And then such patience and tolerance to anything antagonistic to him. Tat karma pravartanat. So rejecting that which is unfavorable, is that what it is? Essentially, materialistic activities. And then sangat yagat satovite, following the pathway of the sangat yagat. Right? I'm mixing it up a little bit, but anyway, following the footsteps of the sadhus with their by their example. Sangat yagat, okay, bad association, rejecting, and then satovrite, following the path of the sadhus. So Prahlad Maharaj is showing all of this to us, and how tolerance is such an important quality. If we don't tolerate what is in our life, like all the things that are coming to us, then how can we progress? Trinadapi sunichina tarorapi sahishrana amanina madatena kirtaniya sadahari. One must be humbler than a blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree, giving respect to all and not expecting any respect in return, not expecting that. And in that way, one can chant the holy names continuously. And you see Prahlad Maharaj, even though his father was so antagonistic, he never said, you fool, you buffoon, you idiot. Nowadays, children have no respect for their parents. And they say very bad things, talk back. They watch TV and they get this example, unfortunately. But yet he says, oh great king of the demons. And this is an honor to be called this for Hiranyakashipu. He always respected and said very nice things to his father. He never disrespected his father. He always gave proper respect to everyone. And he tolerated everything. He's a perfect example of this. And constantly chanting the holy names. So Prahlad Maharaj and his teachings are not ordinary. None of the Bhagavatam's teachings are ordinary, but specifically Prahlad Charitra, our Gurudev has read 108 times, or Param Gurudev, and it has been preached throughout the world many, many times. There's very significant. Sometimes we want to just run to Vrindavan and speak about these pastimes. But how important is Prahlad Maharaj for our bhakti? And there's many incarnations of the Lord. We have the Das Avatar, which will sing the song today. But we don't often worship Matsya. We don't often worship Kurma, the fish incarnation, or the tortoise incarnation, or Parshuram. There's many incarnations. We don't often, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, worship them. We respect them, but we don't worship them. But who do we worship often? Nrsingha, even every day. Srila Prabhupada established Nrsingha prayers in the temple every day. Before getting Harinam, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would give Nrsingha mantras, actually. So Nrsingha is very important, and like we said, there's some esoteric deep meaning with that, because it's in connection to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But also he represents the removal of anarthas, anartha nivritti, and the protection of the bhakti. We might have a beautiful seed of bhakti, but if we don't have a strong fence around it, it will just get smashed. So Nrsingha helps to protect. This is one of the most important things. It's easy to start something, it's difficult to maintain it. We can start our spiritual life, but it's easy to get distracted and go wayward without a fence and without protection and sangha and watering that, taking care of it and being patient as it grows. That is the difficult thing. And so Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsingha, taking shelter of both of them, they can protect us, and with their mercy and sangha, they can help protect our plant, our bhakti lata, so that we are strong and fixed. In any trial and tribulation, we are not wavered, right? We are just fixed. And we have faith. Prahlad Maharaj also shows Sharanagati. He has faith that Krishna is his protector. Krishna is his maintainer. And he's humble. He's not worried about anything. Even his father gives him poisonous food, and he takes it. He offers it to Krishna, and then he takes it. He doesn't die. He has that much faith Do we have that much faith? So this is some of my things that were coming up as everyone was speaking, but how glorious is Prahlad Maharaj, really, how glorious. He's in our Jayadwani, and he's one of our Mahajans. So we want to follow him and his example and hear his teachings. And Srila Gurudev always loved when in Badger there would be the Nrsingha play. And Govinda Priya Didi would always be reciting. She memorized all the verses that Prahlad Maharaj would instruct. So important are these teachings. So on this day, I pray that such teachings enter my heart, that maybe I even memorize them because I don't know them all, and that my bhakti can be protected, all of our bhakti can be protected, and we can be firm and fixed and patient and tolerant of all trials and tribulations, giving respect to all, and having that Guru Nishta, that one-pointed Guru Nishta. Jai Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
So,
If she disturbs, maybe you can take her to.
I will, yeah, I'll be with them.
20 minutes to describe how
Okay.
Nrsingha appears and destroys Hiranyakashipu, and then we'll have our Abhishek.
Okay.
Oh, she doesn't want to go.
All right. You want to speak right now?
Yeah, she can be with you.
Om Agyan Shivanandasya Gyananjan Shalakya Chakshurulmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishwapadaya Krishna Pishtaya Vitri Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Namine Shri Krishna Lila Kathane Shudaksha Modarya Madhura Guneshiktam Varnavena Purusham Hantam Narayanam Tvam Shishanamami Namo Vishwapadaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutri Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschata Deshatayane Vancha Kalpatrubhasha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaurabhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So first of all I offer my unlimited Dandat Pranam at the lotus feet of my Paramaratham Gurudev Nityalila Vishnu Vishnu Pashla Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Also at the lotus feet of my Paramaratham Shiksha Gurudev Nityalila Vishnu Vishnu Pashla Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj. My Param Gurudev Nityalila Vishnu Vishnu Pashla Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and also Nityalila Vishnu Vishnu Pashla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. All glories to Prahlad Maharaj. All glories to Nrsingha Bhagwan. Really, without the mercy of Nrsingha Bhagwan, we cannot attain bhakti. We cannot save our bhakti. You know, without the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj, we cannot understand. Prahlad Maharaj gave us the blessing. So sometimes some Vaishnavas or some devotees, they become the cause for the upliftment of other people, right? For example, we see in material world, like we see, you know, Jesus is one example that he did so many things and he gave a message. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj, by suffering, he got us a boon for everybody for time to come. And the boon was that, thank you. Now it's time for you to go to Mama. Do you want doodh? Go doodh, Mama. Go to Mama. Mama. Okay, good. So Prahlad Maharaj and that boon I'm going to tell you in the end. So this whole process of Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsingha Bhagwan, this whole thing is for many, many reasons, because Lord is doing so many things, because his one action is actually fulfilling many, many things. Not only in that moment, but also something that happened in the past, like Vrindavan Prabhu was saying, and something that is constantly happening and is happening, going to happen in the future. So this is the story of two brothers who fell from their duty because they did aparadh to 4 Kumaras, the saintly boys. But really, these two gatekeepers of the Lord can never do anything wrong. You have to understand that. But they still, for the satisfaction of the Lord, because Krishna Narayan wanted to enjoy the Veer Ras. Veer Ras means fighting. I mean, he's living in Vaikuntha, nobody's fighting with anybody, everybody's like chilling. He's laying on the bed of, like, nice bed, and Lakshmi's massaging his feet. So everything is nice. You know, when something is nice, everything is good, but you need some kind of conflict, right? So he wants conflict. So he says, I want conflict. So he caused a reason for a conflict. So now Lord has to come to serve, but he cannot come for just anybody, you know. Any Tom, Dick and Harry, or Trump, Biden, or even Kim Jong-un or anybody, right? He won't just come for that, right? There has to be a bigger like reason. If God has to come, then it has to come for like his own equal, or somebody who's like, you know, kind of like his protector, right? So gatekeeper means they're protector. When Lord is resting, they are protecting the Lord. Well, Lord doesn't need protection, but these two people are protectors of the Lord and the people of the Lord and everything that is there in the Vaikuntha. So Hiranyaksh, he's already dead, and there's a whole story in Bhagavatam where Hiranyakashipu is talking about like how he's so intelligent. Both Ravan and Hiranyakashipu have exhibited that they're so intelligent. When they speak, their intelligence is beyond and mind-baffling. The kind of Shastra that they quote is not normal person cannot quote. Even the person who has realized Shastra sometimes cannot quote, because these are not ordinary people. So Hiranyaksh is laying on the deathbed, and then Hiranyakashipu is quoting Shastra that how you should now let him go in the funeral pyre. And then he tells a story about Yamaraj, that a boy came and the boy is roaming around the body of Hiranyaksh and saying, what are you crying for? Oh, you're crying because somebody left. He said, who left? He said, this person's left. So like this whole story is going on. I said, have you seen this person? He said, no, we haven't seen the person. So then what are you crying for? So then there's another story that Yamaraj says about the birds when they are in the forest, and then they are enjoying and they're attached to each other, and then this female bird, she sees a very beautiful pearl like rice and she goes for it, and then in the end the hunter kills the female, you know, bird, pigeon, and then because the other pigeon is crying, the male pigeon is crying, he also gets killed. So he's telling all these stories about Yamaraj, and then at the time of the death of, you know, so one thing we have to understand, demonic people or the people with demonic nature, they may exhibit very good quality of like able to explain to you and bewilder you logically, or even quote some shastra or make up some things that you will be like, oh wow, like Elon Musk, you know, Dogecoin is great, it's not great. Bitcoin is amazing, but no, I don't want it, right? So this is demonic. Let's destroy Earth, let's go to Mars, you know. Let's sell all Chinese products, let's fill up the whole landfill with like, fill the landfill with boxes, right? So that's what demonic people do, right? This is all, and it's not like they're demonic. Everybody has demon and demigods in them. So when Mahabharata happened, at that time, demons and demigods, they all entered into everybody's body. It's not like, you know, very simple, like, oh, you're demonic, you're not, you're demigod. Everybody just went in different people's body. And then what happened was that sometimes they become demonic, sometimes they become demigod, you know. Ultimately, we're trying to become devotees, which is beyond that. And the only way you can achieve that is by living in a certain kind of gunas, right? Even if you're living in Sataguna, you're still like living a demigod life. But you are increasing your demigod qualities. But one day, I mean, those who have been in different yoga studios or yoga situations, you'll snap in a second. You know, the AC is not working or something happened, your car broke down, and boom, you know, everything will be tested. You know, they say that send a prophet to his house for Thanksgiving and then you'll see how great a prophet he is. Right? So so similarly, you know, so these all these, like, you know, there's a sangram going on. You know, in Mahabharata it says there's a sangram. Demons and demigods, they're always fighting. It's sangram, you know. But really that sangram is actually these energies fighting with each other all the time, and that's why hence our mind, you know. So Prahlad Maharaj, he was born to the demonic family. Like Hiranyakashipu is such a great, like, mind. And then he said, you know, I have to kill Vishnu. But Vishnu has killed my brother. And he just came as a boar. A beautiful boar. Right? And he just killed him. So, like, that means Vishnu can come as anything. And he can be my death in no matter what situation. It's like now, especially like, you know, around the world where more people are dying, they're like, oh my God, there's like a virus is coming and it's just gonna go from my nose, and if I touch something and then I'm just gonna die, you know. People are yeah, exactly, yeah. So people are dying, but a lot of people are dying because of fear. I'm seeing in India right now, like, you know, so. I mean, many people died in America in the beginning because of fear, like, oh, coronavirus, so let's put them on ventilator. Obviously, you put them on ventilator, they're never coming back. Right? So, it's fear, right? Like Kim Jong-un thinks like, oh my God, America is sending me like a fire, like some missile, but it's like, it might be just a Chinese firecracker, but he might just put buttons on like nuclear, and then whole LA is gone, and then there's a whole thing. It's all fear, right? Because fear of death. Everybody wants to live more because they always are attached to their body. And they want to like extend their life. But devotee is not like that. When Prahlad Maharaj found out that he's going to die, he did not go back to that. He didn't even waste a single moment. He said, he didn't even go back to that saint or saint's son that please take this back. I'm Prahlad Maharaj. He didn't do that. He did not negotiate or let's figure it out and make it like something better or easier or prolong the time. He said, you know, I don't have any more time. 7 days. And then Sukdev Goswami came and all whole Bhagavatam was spoken. And he didn't even got up and he heard the whole Bhagavat and he received everything and he prepared. Okay. Gurudev says when the death came, he was already
in samadhi.
He already left. He already left by his own choice. No snake can come and touch him. So similarly, in this case, Hiranyakashipu is like, I don't want to die like my brother. Although I'm speaking such great words like, oh, you know, the soul is temporary, like body is temporary, soul lives forever. There's Yamaraj and this and that. One should not be attached and blah, blah, blah. But actually he's not following through with what he's saying. He's just doing exactly opposite. What he does, he goes to Brahma. He goes to Mandrachal Parvat, and then he starts doing austerities. And the purpose of austerity is that I don't want to die. So for 10,000 years, I think 60,000 years?
60,000.
Yeah, 60,000 years he does austerity. And before he goes, he has planted a seed and Prahlad is in the womb of the mother. So at that time, he's doing so much tapasya that by just his tapasya, the world is getting in so much heat that already the people who are living in the lower planets or higher planets, they're running from those places. Like, you know, when you throw something, cockroaches, they just run away, or insects, they just run away. Or when water comes and it rains and floods, all the snakes, they just run first, you know, from their, you know, whatever caves or small holes. Everybody started running, all demigods, everybody started running away. They went to higher planet. And then Brahma, they went to Brahma that you need to solve the problem. You're the creator, you must do something. So then Brahma, he appeared in front of Hiranyakashipu. He said, what do you want? He said, I don't want to die. said, the news is that one day I'm also going to die, so I can't give you something that I don't have. He said, then what can you give? You ask me what you want. I can try to do something. He said, okay, then in that case, I should not be killed by any human or by animal. Right? Said, okay, that's fine, I can give you that. Said, okay, should not be killed in the night or in the day. Said, all right, give you that. I should never be killed by any kind of weapon or by any kind of like this another thing he said. Said, okay, I give you that. So like this, he kept on giving him different things. He keep on like using this logical
The
brain.
sky
He kept
and the
on
ground.
sky on ground, and so many things he asked, And then he said, okay, I should not be killed. Yeah, so in the end he said, okay, tathastu, okay. And then Hiranyakashipu said, okay, yeah, good. I got all the things. And then he got off from his tapasya. Typically when you come out of your tapasya, you should have realized higher something. He did not realize anything. Instead he became more ignorant. And then what he started doing, he started killing. First he went to Indra, took his throne. He said, he's the king of heaven, let me take his throne. He was thrown away. And then he took the whole earth after that. Then he took the whole bottom, like Varun Dev's planet, everything. He took all the hellish and heavenly planets. He just controlled everything. And then said, anybody who takes the name of Vishnu, I'll kill you. So all the Brahmanas, all the so-called rishis, they got scared and they started creating like you see so many this fake books, so-called religion that has been created like in past 2000 years especially, that it started writing shastras in praise of Hiranyakashipu, prayers, ashtakams, all that stuff, so that it looks like, oh yeah, this is God, because you have these ashtakams like, what's going on in India right now. So Christians are preaching in India by writing Sanskrit songs. So to bewilder the villagers, so they're writing like songs in like Avadi, like the way Tulsidas, Ramayana is. So they're writing songs in that, so people are getting confused to think like, Jesus is something like, God of India. And Islam, they did the same thing. So many other religions came, in past 500, 600 years, so many misreligions have come. And what they have done, they have just killed people. Like if you look at Native Americans, they're completely gone, And same is going on in India right now. So he just started converting people, killing people who didn't follow. And he established universities, schools, all kind of like propaganda so that, people could be brainwashed from childhood. And then when he came back, obviously he met his son, Prahlad, and he was very happy. He was a really good father though, in the beginning. He came, he held his son, he smelled his forehead, he kissed him, he became so happy. He said like, my son, So everybody was like, wow, he's such a great father, But actually, the moment he sent Prahlad to school, and already we heard about Narad Muni and all that story, so I won't go into it. So he did go to Narad Muni. He was in the womb. He won't come out of the womb for 60,000 years. Because such a saint, he could just stay wherever he wants. And all the demigods wanted to kill Prahlad in the womb. And Narad Muni said, no, he's going to be a great saint. Don't worry about him. So Prahlad Maharaj, he, by the word vibrations, giving knowledge and feeding prasadam to the pregnant, a kayadu, and taking care of her, and giving all the knowledge, Prahlad was already became an expert in the womb itself. And then when he was born, he was already a saint. 5 minutes, okay. So although he looked like a demon from outside, or was born in a demon family, but internally he was a saint. So that's why one should be very careful about like trying to. That's why Mahaprabhu, when he came, he completely eradicated the caste system in India. He said, it doesn't matter you're born in a Muslim family or you're born in whatever, you are a devotee, you're a devotee. Simple. You can be born in a dog-eating family, but still, if you're chanting the name of the Lord, then you are devotee and you should be given that, highest honor. We see so many examples, and that's how our whole mission is about that. You know, so then Hiranyakashipu asked his son, who is God? He said, Vishnu is. And he became really angry. Immediately, all his love. First, he started laughing. Like, when a kid does something funny, he wanted to be like, okay, he's just being like ridiculous. He doesn't know anything. Said, oh. And then he said, where did you learn that? He said, he didn't say anything. And said, okay, he needs to be sent to a school. So he sent him to the school of Shukracharya. But Shukracharya was gone on his tapasya. So then he left his two sons, Chandana Mark, in charge. So then the Prahlad Maharaj was interested there. So there they tried to teach him about all material science, and they tried to teach him about kind of like a seminary of Hiranyakashipu, basically, pretty much. Teach him about how Hiranyakashipu is God.
Politics.
Right? And politics and so many other things, So then Hiranyakashipu, he brought his son after, summer vacation or whatever vacations, Prahlad Maharaj come back home, and he very happy that my son is back, so he immediately embraced him. He's licking him, kissing him. My son is here. He really loves his son so much. Said, so what did you learn? And then already Malini talked about it. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and in the end he said Vishnu Pad Sevanam, so he took the name of Vishnu, and then Hiranyakashipu becomes so angry, he threw Prahlad on the ground. And he wanted to reform him once more, but he couldn't reform. So then Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill his own son. So he said, let's try to kill him in a way that it doesn't look bad on me, that I'm killing a kid. So he tried many different things. First he tried to poison him, which nobody will know. And nothing happened to Prahlad. Then he tried to put him under the elephant, trample him under the elephant, then also couldn't do it. Then his sister came, Holika. What's going on, brother? Why are you so worried? He said, I'm worried because Prahlad is not dying and I'm looking really bad and weak. He said, no, don't worry, I'll take care of him. So Holika had this power that she can be saved in the fire. So she took Prahlad in her lap and she went into the fire, and instead of Prahlad dying, Holika died. I'm speaking quickly because, so many things happened. They couldn't kill Prahlad. So in the end, he said, he got frustrated, are you going to be reformed or not? He said, there's no need to reform. Lord is control of everything. He said, he's control of everything? Yes, he's control of everything. He's even control of you, my father. He said, he's everywhere and he's everywhere. I said, really? So is he really in this pillar? Abhishek time, right? I can cut off right now. You already spoke. 2 more minutes? You do that. No.
We're just setting up. So
Huh?
we're arranging it right now, so keep going.
Alright. The thing is that I get shy in front of experts, speakers. In front of us, I can't speak too much. It feels shy. So, anyway, so Prahlad, so Hiranyakashipu said, oh, he's in the pillar? He said, yes, he's in the pillar. Okay, so he said, now I'm going to show you that the God is not in the pillar. Like mostly, all these atheists, they try to tell you that God is nowhere. They immediately took a big, club, and he struck the pillar, and the pillar broke, and from there, Nrsingha Bhagwan appeared. So Nrsingha Bhagwan, he appeared, and immediately he went and he tried to capture Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu started to run away a little bit, and then he wanted to fight, so he started beating Nrsingha Bhagwan with the club. And Hiranyakashipu caught him and then let him again escape. So when he caught him, everybody was like, oh, Bhagwan has captured Hiranyakashipu. But then when he let him go, they started like, praying that, oh, hopefully he'll catch him. But Nrsimha Bhagwan was playing with him like Garud will play with the snake. That he'll sometimes capture them and release them. Capture them and release them and then eat them in the end.
Like a cat and mouse.
Like a cat and mouse game. So at that time, Hiranyakashipu, he started giving a great fight to Nrsimha Bhagwan, and Nrsimha Bhagwan immediately captured Hiranyakashipu and brought him on his lap and in the doorway, and at that time the time was like this. It was not night, it was not day, and he didn't use any weapon, he didn't use any machinery or machine gun or anything. He just used his hand and nails, and he just like immediately ripped him apart. He did not keep him on the ground or on the air, he just kept him on his thigh, and he came as half lion and half human form, and immediately killed Hiranyakashipu. And after that, with his nail, in a second, he killed all the other demons, and they were all dead. So at that time, Nrsimha Bhagwan ki, Jai Prahlad Maharaj ki. So then Nrsimha Bhagwan, he immediately started, like Prabhuji gives very beautiful class, like Nrsimha Bhagwan started tasting the intestine. Intestine I mean, you should give that class. It's very beautiful actually. I read that, I was like shocked, like so beautiful. Prabhuji gave that whole class. I was like, so yeah, he started like tasting he's like, well, that's also his devotee. He started tasting his intestine. He put his intestine and put it around his neck. Not because that's his devotee. He just put it around his neck. And then everybody was shaking, that seeing the sight of Nrsimha Bhagwan.
He put the intestine around his neck?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a garland.
Like a garland. Because that's his dear devotee, So, very dear. But this kind of concept cannot be understood. That's something Rasik will speak about, because he typed everything. So, in the end, Prahlad, nobody could approach. Lakshmi came and Lakshmi couldn't speak to Nrsimha Bhagwan. So she was shaking. Brahma was shaking, Shiva was shaking, everybody was shaking. So they asked Prahlad to come and speak. So when Nrsimha Bhagwan picked up Prahlad Maharaj, and he started licking him, and he started crying, and he cried so much, all the dress of Prahlad Maharaj became completely wet. And at that time, later on, after some time, next day when he took bath in the same evening or something in the same Palli, he thought that, so much love came in my heart for Prahlad Maharaj. But Prahlad Maharaj didn't have the same love for me. I had this unique love. And I didn't get this love from somebody. So that day he decided, I will never come from a pillar. I'll always come from a mother or a father. So that I can get this Vatsalya Prema. Because I saw this, I gave it to Prahlad, but I did not receive it. So I want to receive it. So then that moment he decided that, I want to be. So after all the avatars, if you look, are all from somebody's womb. Kapil Dev, so many, So Nrsimha Bhagwan ki. So one last thing I'll say, Prahlad Maharaj, he went through all this. And Prahlad Maharaj, Nrsimha Bhagwan say, you asked me for a boon. Prahlad said, I don't want anything, you've already given me anything. He said, but still I insist you should ask. He said, be merciful to be my father. Please, he has done so many things wrong to you, but still be merciful to him. He said, he's already liberated. In fact, if somebody chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or takes the Naam, his 7 generations are liberated, up and down, 14 generations. But somebody who's a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, 21 generations up and 21 generations down, and on the side there are generations like your mother's family, all gets liberated. 4 fathers. There's certainly like devotee like that, their forefathers, they leave hellish planet and they join pure bhakti line. And one thing he said, that all the suffering of the people should come to me. And he said, don't worry about that. Anyway. So, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Nrsingha Bhagwan ki jai. So basically, Nrsingha Bhagwan is the deity of any kind of abuse to children, basically. We see that, so he's the protector of children. Really.
Bhakti Vigna Vinasana
Yeah.
Vancha
kalpatrubhesha kripa sindhu bhayo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha.
Jai Ho. Nrsingha Bhagavan ki jai. So now we'll have Abhishek with Dasavatar Kirtan. Glorifying all the avatars.
We're bringing it now. Don't see that. Shri Dasavatar Stotram. Oh, let's get it. Go to the Abhishek. It can be unplugged now. Jai. Jai. Shri Dasavatar Stotram, page 349. Pralaya payodi jale dritavana siveda vihita vahita charitramaketham keshavadita meena sharira jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare Jagadisha Hare Shitiriha vipula tare tishtati tava presthe Dharani dharanakina chakra gharishte Keshavadhrita kurma sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Vasati Darshana Shikhare Dharani Tavalagna Shashini Kanam Kakale Vanimagna Keshavadrita Shukara Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Oh Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Swami Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Avakara Kamala Varena Kama Bhuta Shriya Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu जगदीश हरे वितरसि दीक्षुर हे दीपति कमनीया दशमुख मोहि बलि रमणीया केशवरीता राम शरीरा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Jai Nrsingha. Prahlad Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa. Prahlad Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa. Bhageshaya Savadane. Lakshmi Yasya Chavashasi. Yasya Chavashasi. Yasya Hridaye Samvit. Yasya Hridaye Samvit. Tam Nrsingha Mahamade. Tam Nrsingha Prahlad Hridayanath. Prahlad Hridaya. Bhakta Vidya Vidarana. Bhakta Vidya Shayarindurutim Vande. Parindavadanam Hare. Oh, Singh Singh Jai Nrsingha, Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh, Singh Singh Jai Nrsingha, Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh, Jai Jai Nrsingha. Jai Jai Nrsingha. Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh, Jai Jai Nrsingha. Jai Jai Nrsingha.
Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. O Prahlad Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringha. Prahlad Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringha. O Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Jai Jai Nrsingha. Jai Jai Nrsingha. Jai Jai Nrsingha. Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Jai Jai Nrsingha. Jai Jai Nrsingha. Jai Jai Nrsingha. Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. O Tava Kara Kamala Vare Nakam Adabhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Bolo Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jagadisha Hare. Bolo Jai Jagadish, Jai Jagadish, Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish, Jai Jagadish, Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish, Jai Jagadish, Jai Jagadish Hare. Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Jai Jai Nrsingha. Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Prahlad Nrsingha. Bolo Prahlad Nrsingha. Bolo Oh Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Shri Nrsingha Jai Nrsingha Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh Gaur Nityananda Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Oh Gaur Nityananda Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Bolo Hari Bol Hari Bol. Oh Hari Bol Hari Bol. Oh Hari Bol Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Oh Hari Bol Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh! Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Whoa! Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo Rama Rama Hare Hare Bhakti Bhakti Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Bolo Prahlad Nrsingha, Bolo Prahlad Nrsingha. Ho! Shri Nrsingha. Bolo Shri Nrsingha,
Shri Nrsingha,
Jai Nrsingha,
Jai Nrsingha,
Shri Nrsingha,
Shri Nrsingha,
Jai Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Bolo Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Oh! Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Oh! Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Oh! Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Oh! Shri Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Shri Nrsingha, Prahlad Nrsingha, Prahlad Nrsingha, Prahlad Nrsingha. Bolo Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha.
Nrsingha, oh Prahlad Nrsingha, oh Prahlad Nrsingha. Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Oh Prahlad Jaya Padma Bhuta Padma Nrsingha. Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai. Oh Prahlad Jaya Padma Bhuta Padma Nrsingha. Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Oh Prahlad Jaya Padma Bhuta Padma Nrsingha. Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha. Vagishaya Sabhagale Bol. Vagishaya Sabhagale Bol. Vagishaya Sabhagale Lakshmiryacha Chavakshasi Lakshmiryasha Chavakshasi Vagishaya Dhane Lakshmi Nrsingha, Jai Nrsingha, Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bola Jai Jai Nrsingha, oh Jai Jai Nrsingha. Bola Jai Jai Nrsingha. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Oh, Jaya Nrsingha, Jaya Nrsingha, Jaya Nrsingha, Jaya Nrsingha. Oh, Jaya Prahlad Nrsingha, Jaya Prahlad Nrsingha, Prahlad Nrsingha, Jaya Prahlad Nrsingha. Hari Kai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Kai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Kai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hidai Gaur Puranam mein Hari 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 Bol. Now we'll have quick arti and then Maharaj. I know it's getting late. We can do New York sun.